A royal wife adored by the public and seemingly surrounded by love and support, yet facing a secret battle that nobody knew about. A battle so intense, so emotionally draining, that it would take 17 rounds of IVF treatments just for her to fulfill the one thing the royal family demanded: an heir. The pressure from the palace was relentless, yet despite her heartbreak, Queen Aziza endured it all, silently suffering in the shadows of public life. But how did this seemingly perfect royal couple navigate a life filled with love, duty, and a dark secret? How did Queen Aziza cope with the growing pressure from both the royal family and the public while carrying the weight of unspoken grief? The real question here is, how did she find the strength to keep going, even when everything seemed stacked against her? Stay tuned, because today we're uncovering the shocking truth behind Princess Aziza's heartbreaking journey, 17 grueling IVF treatments, the pain of watching her husband take a second wife, unimaginable loss, and the unexpected twists that pushed her marriage and royal duty to the brink. How did she overcome it all to become Malaysia's beloved queen? This is a story you can't afford to miss. Let's start with the most crucial part of her story: the years of IVF treatments. While her husband, Prince Abdullah, stood by her, the painful reality was that Princess Aziza was fighting this battle almost entirely alone. 17 treatments. That's not just a number. It's a journey of loss, hope, and despair. But before we dive into the heartache, let's rewind to the beginning of this royal romance that would eventually captivate the nation. Aziza was no ordinary princess. Born into Malaysia's royal family, her story was already one of privilege, tradition, and immense expectations. But behind the sparkling facade of royal life, there were personal struggles that would later define her legacy. Aziza's early life was marked by a deep connection to her family, especially her grandfather, Sultan Ismail. He played a pivotal role in bringing her closer to Prince Abdullah, despite the intense pressure that came with being a member of the royal family. Their connection began with letters. For over a decade, they communicated in secret, carefully orchestrated by royal protocols that forbade any personal interaction. Imagine that, 13 years of messages, each one more passionate than the last, but no face-to-face meetings. That's how strong their bond grew, even without meeting in person. The love between them was real, but the challenge was just beginning. In 1986, their long-distance romance turned into a reality when they were married in an extravagant ceremony. The royal couple became the embodiment of fairy tale love. But what followed was far from a smooth ride. Despite their undeniable connection, Aziza's journey as a wife wasn't as glamorous as it appeared to the public. The royal family, like many others around the world, was obsessed with one thing: producing an heir. But what happens when a woman who seemingly has it all can't give her husband the one thing the royal family demands? Pressure. Intense pressure. By 1990, the couple had been married for 4 years, but there was still no sign of a child. And then, after years of waiting, the moment they both have longed for finally arrived. Aziza was pregnant. The nation rejoiced, but their joy was short-lived. The joy of finally being pregnant turned into unimaginable sorrow when their baby, Ahmad, was born critically weak and passed away shortly after. The devastating loss not only left Princess Aziza heartbroken, but also shook the foundation of their marriage. The palace advisors, the very people who had helped orchestrate this marriage, now urged Prince Abdullah to remarry. They needed an heir, and if Aziza couldn't give them one, the royal family needed to look elsewhere. Imagine the pain of having to endure not only the loss of a child, but also the deep humiliation of being told that she wasn't enough. This was the silent burden that Princess Aziza carried in the shadows of her public life. The loss was crushing. Like many couples who lose a child, Aziza and Abdullah found it hard to stay strong. Soon after, Abdullah started seeing and eventually married actress Julia Abdul Rais, a popular star in Malaysia at the time. They had 3 daughters together, and Julia left her acting career to focus on her new family. This was hard for Aziza to accept, but she refused to give up. Instead of letting her grief consume her, she turned it into determination. Aziza's resolve to fulfill her dream of becoming a mother and uphold her royal responsibilities pushed her to seek solutions in the face of immense pressure and societal expectations. But through it all, Prince Abdullah never left her side. He stood by her as she tried everything to conceive. However, just as the public focused on the royal couple's heartbreak, another story was unfolding behind closed doors, one that no one knew about until much later. In a series of treatments that stretched across years, Princess Aziza underwent 17 rounds of IVF. Let that sink in. 17. Each round was a new hope, a fresh start, but with every failed attempt, the emotional toll grew heavier. These weren't just medical procedures, these were personal battles, ones that Aziza faced without the public's support. Hidden behind the walls of the palace, it was a journey marked by tears, frustration, and a deep sense of loneliness. While her husband stood by her, and while the public adored the royal couple, the painful truth was Aziza was fighting her own battle, one of infertility, loss, and isolation. Despite the public's perception that she had everything, in reality, she was enduring the worst kind of pain, all while maintaining the perfect image of a royal wife. But then, the unexpected happened. After 17 attempts, Princess Aziza finally gave birth to a healthy baby born in 1995. This was the breakthrough everyone had been waiting for. Her joy was palpable, but this moment didn't erase the years of emotional turmoil she had endured. It didn't remove the scars left by each failed attempt, but it did mark the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Over the next few years, Aziza would go on to have 5 more children, solidifying her place as a mother and fulfilling her royal duty. But the pain of those years stayed with her, lingering just beneath the surface of her public life. This is the part of her story that the public rarely sees, the truth behind the smiling photos, the royal duties, and the public appearances. While people admired her poise and strength, they didn't know the emotional cost of her journey. She was a queen, yes, but she was also a woman, a mother, and a wife who had endured one of the most personal, heart-wrenching struggles imaginable. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Despite the personal pain, Queen Aziza became an inspiration for countless women across Malaysia. Her decision to speak openly about her IVF journey was groundbreaking. She shattered the silence surrounding infertility and gave a voice to women who had suffered in silence. Her bravery encouraged women to seek help, to speak up, and to never give up on their dreams of motherhood. She became more than just a royal figure. She became a symbol of hope for so many. But that's not all. Her story didn't just end with her own personal success. Aziza, through the Tunku Aziza Foundation, dedicated herself to helping women facing similar struggles. She raised awareness, offered emotional support, and provided financial assistance for those undergoing fertility treatments. She became a beacon of hope and support in a society where infertility had long been a taboo subject. But her compassion didn't stop there. The princess also wrote cookbooks, using the proceeds to raise funds for the foundation and help even more women achieve their dreams of motherhood. Now, let's talk about what made her not just a queen, but a true leader. Queen Aziza's reign was marked by her ability to balance the expectations of the royal family with her own personal values. She didn't just follow tradition, she shaped it. Her compassion for people, her willingness to fight for the voiceless, and her unwavering dedication to helping others defend her legacy. As a mother, she was nurturing, but as a queen, she was a force to be reckoned with. Then, something even more touching happened. Aziza, deeply moved by the story of a 2-year-old girl with werewolf syndrome, born with hair covering her face and body, decided to adopt her. The little girl had been ridiculed by other children, and her parents couldn't afford treatment. Aziza made sure that the family received the support they needed. For her kindness and dedication, the people of Malaysia gave Aziza the title of Queen of Malaysian Hearts. In 2019, after the sudden abdication of the previous king, Queen Aziza ascended to the throne. This moment marked the culmination of years of hardship, loss, and perseverance. But her reign was not just about royal ceremonies or titles. It was about changing lives. Aziza didn't just rule, she led by example. Throughout her reign, Queen Aziza continued her philanthropic work, supporting causes related to women's health, education, and the welfare of children. She was a hands-on queen, one who genuinely cared about the well-being of her people. Her public appearances were always met with admiration, but it was the personal connections she forged that truly set her apart. People didn't just see her as a queen, they saw her as a mother, a mentor, and a true champion of the people. So here's the question: how did she do it? How did Queen Aziza rise above it all, the heartbreak, pressure, and public scrutiny, to become not just a queen, but an inspiration? The answer lies in her resilience, her determination to never give up, and her ability to turn personal pain into something that helped others. Queen Aziza's story is evidence of the strength of the human spirit. She didn't just endure, she thrived. She didn't just overcome personal tragedy, she used it to change the lives of others. And in doing so, she became a queen in every sense of the word. Not just a ruler of a nation, but a leader of hearts. As we look back on her incredible journey, let's not just admire her triumphs, but also remember her for the struggles she overcame and the lessons she taught us. Queen Aziza's legacy will live on as a shining example of perseverance, compassion, and the power of hope. What do you think of her story? Let us know in the comments below. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this. Stay tuned because we have more incredible content coming your way. Thanks for watching.